A few days ago, I got my favorite comment on this channel so far. It was about my Atmos speaker setup using mostly speakers I already had on hand. Griffin wrote, "I honestly love how janky this setup is. I'm very tempted to try something similar as I want to get into Atmos." This guy gets me. When I made that video, I thought I'd look like an idiot using computer desktop speakers, when all the videos I saw showed rooms that cost anywhere from $15,000 to $100,000. But I was proud of my setup because it gave me a sense of how Atmos could sound without sinking a lot of money. I knew if I wanted to continue in Atmos, I could upgrade. As I kept learning and mixing my own projects, I was watching YouTube and seeing what other people were doing for their speaker setups. I happen to have a nice, spacious room, but it's a new house and I didn't want to drill a bunch of holes in the ceiling. Some people are lucky enough to have rafters for their ceiling mounts, and others are using lighting trusses. Some truss systems use these spreader stands, which appealed to me. Some are self-standing, like a four-legged table, and don't need stands. I also wasn't sure what speakers to use. I already had one of these Yamaha HS5s, which is the same family as my main speakers, the HS8s, but with a 5-inch woofer. I figured the HS5s would match well as a height speaker. They're also relatively affordable. Yamaha makes a mounting bracket, but it's for a different version that has pre-drilled holes, and it wouldn't allow the angle I need anyway. Other speakers, like the Genelec, have cool mounts that can clamp onto a truss, but at $3,000 each, they're a little beyond my reach. So I thought, maybe I could devise some kind of bracket myself. But do I really want to drill holes in my speakers? There are so many unanswered questions. I was going around in circles. 5 months had gone by. I published a dozen more videos on Atmos mixing. I was mixing my own Atmos album, and I was still using the same overhead speakers. What finally pushed me over the edge was Billie Eilish. The Atmos mix of her track, Happier Than Ever, has been praised for many things, including its amazing dynamic range. The song starts out quietly, then builds and builds to a blazing climax that pulls out all the stops. And let's just say I would not want to be the guy that she's singing about. But this was the moment of truth for my janky height speakers. Hearing Billie's raging screams, especially from the rear overheads, I actually thought my little speakers had blown. I thought, okay, Billie, I get it, I need an upgrade. That gave me the nudge, but I still didn't have the answers. When I get stuck like this, it seems the hardest part is to take the first step. It felt like a risk, but I needed to know if attaching brackets to the speaker would damage the innards. That meant I had to open the back. This probably violates the warranty and is not recommended by Yamaha. In fact, I make no warranties of anything I'm showing in this video. You're on your own. But thankfully, my experiment showed that the sides were clear for drilling. I decided to buy this system from geekstands.com. From the website, it looked like it was adjustable in width and in where the stands could attach. I couldn't know for sure until I bought one, so I only bought one at first to experiment with. I personally had good luck ordering from geekstands.com. I also ordered a second HS5 so I'd have the front pair of speakers. When the orders arrived, I played around with how to attach the speakers. The truss set comes with 12 of these C-clamps, which are meant for attaching stage lights. I used angle brackets from the hardware store, 4 to each speaker, to rest into the C-clamps. No turning back now. I tested everything with one speaker on the floor first. The way I did it makes it easy to slide the speaker where I want to on the truss. I measured the speaker to be a little off-center to leave room for the power cord and the audio cable. It was a relief to see that my decisions turned out well. So I set up the front truss and hung the 2 speakers. Unfortunately, the truss bar blocks 2 of the original ceiling lights, so I added a couple of inexpensive stage lights. The bulbs are Philips Hue lights, which I can control from an app. I put the stand about halfway between the front and side speakers. That leaves space to squeeze through between the stand and the side speaker, which is next to the piano. On my left side, it leaves space between my desk and the keyboard. The truss set comes with 3 5-foot truss beams, but I only needed 2 of the sections for the front. The upright stand can attach anywhere along the truss, not necessarily at the very end. This is great because it let me put the stands where they would best fit in the room. The recommended footprint for the legs is 3 feet apart, but I didn't feel I had enough room. These legs are 2 feet apart, so I added a heavy sandbag on each stand. Everything was working, so I ordered a second truss and 2 more speakers for the rear. I set that truss up so that it spanned over the upright piano. In this case, I needed all 3 sections. After all this, I recalibrated the timing and volume calibrations. I still haven't dealt with the room acoustics for all these speakers, but that will have to wait. I'm happy to say this upgrade cost less than I expected, maybe $1,500 or $1,600. It was totally worth it. This story has a punchline. When I first heard how badly my speakers mangled Happier Than Ever, I never wanted to listen again, so I didn't really know what was going on. When I finally heard it on my new speakers, I was surprised to hear that the rear channels were still distorted. It was being done on purpose. This is what you hear when you solo the rear height channels. On the one hand, you could say, "Ha, you wasted your money," but those cheap speakers made it impossible for me to hear what was really going on. I hope you found this useful. If so, please subscribe and watch all my other videos. Oh, by the way, did you know I have a playlist where I've collected all my favorite videos about Atmos mixing? From Dolby, Andrew Shep's Pure Mix, Produce Like a Pro, and many others. See you next time, and keep on mixing.